We are a couple who wants to encourage you to live your best life and welcome you to a family. We are a carefree people with expressive vibes. So tune in with us, cause we're your teammates on Team Rochelle. Yeah, so tune in with us on Team Rochelle. We'll give you the best advice on Team Rochelle. We're a family, yeah. Team Rochelle. You rolling with Team Rochelle. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Team Rochelle. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You rolling with Team Rochelle.
This is Team Rochelle. And guys, we are back. This is our season opener. Wow. Teammates, we have made it to season 2. We are so excited. And we're here and we're excited. You guys decided to come on a journey with us. We are blessed by your presence. The fact that you chose us to spend your Sunday with is it just makes us happy. And yeah, we're in our feels. But outside of that, we got some great things coming up this season. For starters, we're doing something new. It's called Teammate of the Week, and this week we happen to have 3.
No, 5.
5. You're right. You're actually, 5. We have 5 amazing people.
A lot of people.
And we want to give a quick shout out to them. So we're going to start. Who are we starting with, Love?
So first, Marvin and Joe.
Yes.
Sanders. You know who you are. Our fam bam.
We love y'all.
And their sweet baby girl, Miss Leona
Sanders. Yeah.
Yes.
Shout out to y'all.
And then we also want to shout out Stefan and Jordan Stewart.
Yeah.
And their sweet little baby children.
Soul and Sky. We love y'all.
I was just ruminating on the fact that there's
I know,
more
they're
than
good.
one
There's some
now.
good looking
We're all
kids.
growing
So
up.
we love y'all. Thank you so much. The second shout out is to our boy Chris Baldwin. He's been helping us out for the last year and a half, a sponsor for us. He's been the plug. He's helped us with great deals with our travels and getting us into different Marriott hotels. So we thank you so much. And last but certainly not least, we are thanking Andre and Ted, because without them, we wouldn't have a microphone to do this. We want to thank y'all. Y'all are just amazing people. Yeah, and I mean, you guys are amazing people. All of y'all are doing amazing things, whether it's growing a family, buying a new house, being a videographer, or, just amazing. Y'all are doing amazing things, and we just want to celebrate you guys and say thank you. And now, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And so, we're gonna jump in today's episode.
So we're here talking about growing in Greenville today.
Mm-hmm.
And I can say just from the time that we spent there, I feel as if we honestly grew a whole ton. I think there's times in your life where you can just tell God is really pushing you along and bringing you into something new and just pruning and changing and growing things in you that you probably never would have seen coming. And so Greenville for us, I was going to say Greenville for us was that.
Yeah.
And so we're super thankful. So we did a lot while we were there.
We did.
I mean, looking back, it was crazy. The whole year. I mean, a year and a half. We had the opportunity of working with some really awesome people. We were involved with a lot of festivals. We were involved with something called the Nest Fest. I can't even describe it. It's amazing.
Fitness
Go
event,
look it up.
Health event.
We met a lot of cool people. Miss Lisa at PKF. We got a chance to work out at the Greenville Drive Stadium and actually eat lunch on top of the roof.
Skybox.
Yeah, we got the opportunity to be on the news, the Greenville News. Jarell got the opportunity to be on TEDx on the big stage, which was
all
crazy.
All
glory to God. And the opportunity itself was just ridiculous. It felt otherworldly. It was beautiful. We had the opportunity to perform. We were in multiple showcases that we got to compete in.
Meeting up with other dancers in the area, connecting with dancers from Atlanta, South Carolina, New York, all
the
these
Rowing
other places.
Express Vibe events.
Express Vibe.
We had 2-3 events. and they were crazy. I mean, the last one that we did had over, at some point it was over,
people.
in the room, and it was awesome. It was downtown Greenville,
Mm-hmm.
and so just walking through all of that, it was such a blessing, and it was so, it felt like so much at the time, but looking back, it was like God prepared us for every single moment.
Yeah, and it was fast. It was moving so fast. And just to add on to that, like, we had the opportunity to grow as leaders and community leaders, first and foremost. And we experienced a lot of bumps in the road. Like, it wasn't like this grandiose, like, everything was perfect. Like, we were out of town from our family for the first, half of us staying there. We had a lot of nights where we were reconsidering, like, doubtful about the move, and it's only when you come out of things, like, you realize how much you have matured and what things brought out of you, like, exposed some of those areas where you're insecure, or you have, like, things and attitudes that you need to work on as a human being, which we've developed, you know what I'm saying, and looked at very hard. But other than that, like, we did have an overall great experience. Now, the main question that I'm sure everybody's wanting to know is, like, what brought you back to Greenville? And so...
What brought us out of Greenville?
Yes, what brought us out of Greenville. Well, yeah, what brought us back. We coming back, y'all. But, for real, on this note, I guess it's one of those things where it's kind of like a struggle to talk about, because it's, it's, how would you explain it?
Well, I would say that it was something that we felt like we had to do. It was something where we really needed it. I think
we needed it. Yeah.
We needed it.
Yeah, we needed it.
We needed it,
yeah, so the reason why we left Greenville ultimately is to be with family. Being with our families. Guys, like, literally when you go somewhere and you go out of town, and your core unit, regardless of how many amazing people you meet or how many amazing allies you come across, there's something so powerful about families, about who we are and who we've chosen to be as people.
Yeah.
And so we come from two phenomenal families where they have our backs. Like, we may bicker and fuss and do all these things, but, like, the whole point of it is that they have our backs, and they want to see us do well, and they want Addie to do extremely well. And so when we kept thinking about it, we can forge through, and we can keep keep sewing into these relationships that we've built in Greenville, but we need to get back to our roots so that we can what word am I looking for? So that we can gel and synchronize ourselves in the best situations for us as a clan.
And I think too, it's one of those things where we felt so blessed in the time for all of the people that we met, because, to be honest, there's key people on this season. Again, we'll be shouting them out, but it's like we couldn't have done and accomplished what we accomplished without those people that we met.
Not at all.
In Greenville. And I feel like they know who they are.
Yeah,
and
y'all know who y'all are. Like, we're going to give you a shout out in a few, because there were people who were literally, like, there for us every step of the way, whether that was building bridges to other connections, or being a good companion and a friend, or people who inspired us on artistic notes. Like, there were amazing, beautiful people in it, but at the end of the day, I think the strongest thing about your family is that, I was told by my dad and by her dad that, like, as a man, you make a decision, and you make it for what's best for you and your family. Nobody has to understand it. Nobody has to get it. Nobody has to get it, but, 6'9". Nobody has to get it, but, I know, right? But as long as it benefits you and your family, then that's what's best. And when we talk to people about it, even from us being in that 1% of families who spend, like, more than 37 minutes together a day, people, when we told them that both of our families get along, there's no beef, there's no drama, they're there for their granddaughter, my sister, her sister, like, everyone's surrounding us, my brother, everybody's like, for real? Like, there's nothing. And then we didn't see how much of a blessing that was. So ultimately we came back for our families.
And I think that's part of growth, like especially being, new parents, and
yeah.
I can't call us newlyweds anymore, we're old.
But it feels like it, it does.
But it's one of those things where it's like, we came back to this point where desire of our hearts is to really grow with our family. Like,
yeah,
I know
that's who we are.
It's having that stability and having your grandparents nearby and being able to talk to your auntie or your uncle, or having relationships with your cousins. And Addie has the best cousins. I'm so biased, but they're the best.
Yeah, and their relationships like make us happy. They make us joyful.
And you can see where it impacts. And so for us, I think that was a big lesson, just in what we value. Mm-hmm. And so if, that doesn't give enough away, we are back in
Texas. Cowboy boots. Cowboy boots.
I don't know if that thing is true where it's like if you're from Texas, like you're always going to kind of be drawn. I'm one of those people Texas who it's like, when we moved to South Carolina, I was like, nope, we're done. We're done with Texas. Bye, Texas. Yeah. And then we were like...
We're in, hold on, wait, more specifically, we're in Austin, Texas. ATX, baby. ATX. And so we're going to be talking more about that.
I don't know what I'm doing with my
other episodes. You're typing, baby. Just,
Don't judge me.
We're not judging y'all. Yeah. We're in Austin, Texas. And we have a lot more things developing with that. But we want to get into next, like, what we learned from Greenville, because these lessons are... for you, if you're going through similar things and you've been in positions like us, then hopefully it can help you to where you won't have to make the same decisions, because that's what being a teammate is about. Like, you are able to share your advice and your knowledge and your experience with hopes that you guys will grow from it, and that you, on the receiving end, will give us things to grow by, which we're also going to be talking about this season as well. So, this is what we learned. Rochelle. Alright, Madikin. So, J Money.
Oh my gosh, I haven't called that in forever.
J Money, I know, right?
Madikins.
Wow. So, J Money has a question for you. If I had to ask you, what is it that you feel like your biggest takeaway from, us living in Greenville was?
Blech, so much. My mind's like, I feel like a lot. I think for me it was...
sorry if you hear thunder. It's thundering outside, so...
Yeah, I love the rain.
Yeah.
But I think it was just feeling that, like, independence and that strength inside of ourselves as a family, as a couple, and then as an individual. And so when you move physically from family, and not just that, but even the comfort. I mean, I lived in Texas my whole life. No lie. Like, when we moved to South Carolina, I never lived anyplace else. When I lived with my parents growing up, like, I lived in the same house my whole life until we got married, and so until I went to college. But it was one of those things where it was like, for me, that was a huge deal, moving out and being physically separated. Thank you. Being physically separated, and so it took me out of my comfort zone. I think I experimented a lot with, what it was that I wanted to do as an individual, like what makes me a unique person, and how I define myself within the scope of our family, our marriage, Express Vibe, and just me as a person. And so being able to do that without the comfort around me was difficult. I can definitely say that I struggled through it. When you're on the struggle bus, it felt like that quite a bit. But it wasn't a bad thing. It was really good, because it's like, now that we come back to it, I can process, and I can... Eddie's screaming. Oh my gosh, she's I process and self-reflect so much differently now, because I don't do it through a lens of, like, everyone around me, but I do it through a lens of, like, myself. So instead of saying, oh, well, this could have gone better because of this or this person or this or that, I am forced to look at myself and say, okay, what did you do? How can I improve? And what is it that's going to grow me to the next space that I want to be? I guess without having all of those crutches. So, but and I would ask you the same. What do you think that you grew in the most, or that you learned the most from Greenville?
For me, and you answered that beautifully, and I can say, honestly, that's true. You definitely have come away for personal accountability, and I honor you in that, and it's helped our relationship so much, so thank you. And then B, for me personally, like I'm thinking about it, and for me it's two different things. I think in being business owners, like first-time business owners, first-generation business owners, you kind of don't know the difference between collaboration and partnerships and sponsorships, and there's a lot of things that go into that. And so whenever you're coming into an organization, a ministry, a church, or whether you're involved with someone in some capacity, you have to take time to learn each other. And I think when it comes to handling certain situations, research first before you take action is always the better way to go about things, because you can't just sign up for anything. You have to fall within the parameters of what the leaders are putting out and what they're producing as people first, and then whatever they say they present. And so for me, like, I just know that whatever organization or thing that we gather ourselves into and towards, we'll make informed decisions off of research and experiences that other people have gathered. Not saying that we would judge it just because someone said something about it, but firsthand, like, you just have to know what you're signing up for so that it doesn't create confusion when it comes to you and those partnerships in your business and what you do. And then the second thing is that I think it helped our marriage grow in a way that, like, when you're some odd 1,000 miles away and you're trying to run a business and you're working with your daughter and it's just you two, like, you have to communicate on a faster level if you want to have a happy marriage. And for us, like, the arguments that we could like mull over for a week, you know, we had to go to, you know, an appointment at 5, and, you know, then we had to talk to a banker, then we had to meet with Ted and, you know, Andre. You know, it has to be done. It has to be eradicated because we can't play.
We don't have time.
And we don't have time to argue. So we had to really band together, and I feel like it made our family stronger, and it made us centered. And that's just a continued work of what God's doing in us, and the reason why it was so imperative that we go out of there. And also to appreciate people and not to judge anyone because of the mistakes they make in the public eye or behind closed doors, because you never know why people make those decisions. And at first glance, I'm telling you, it's so easy to judge, like, and be like, man, if I was him and if I was so-and-so, then I would have did that. But, like, we don't know people's struggles. We don't know what they're working through from their childhood, or, you know, trauma, or whatever it is going through in general. So we have to be very careful of how we look at other people and see them as, like, they're another human being, and it's probably not personal. It has more to do with them than it does with us. And just keeping that intention pure, like, those are the two high notes for me of things that we learned in Greenville. So
for sure.
That surmises it.
I think so. I would say also, just on top of what you said, just a small thing for your first point is, like, it's okay to step away from something if you don't align with what's going on. Like, it's okay. It's okay to have great intentions going into something, and maybe your expectation doesn't meet the reality of what's going on. And it's okay to not judge the situation and be upset and get angry and, you know, point fingers because it doesn't make sense for you. It's okay to just step back and be like, look, it didn't work.
And not only that, but, like, we look like clowns, bro, as believers or whatever, when we get out of a situation and then we start clowning on people who are believers, and then we're like bashing them at the same time. It makes us all look stupid. And even on a human level, like, forget faith in God, like, on a human level, like, is that what we're aiming for during, you know, all this craziness that's going on in the world? People getting shot left and right, people getting sick and ill. Like, is that what we're aiming for? Is that the what would you call it? Is that the mark? Is that the mark? And it's like, nah, like, we don't want to be those kinds of people. So we took our exit right, and we kept moving forward as God intended us to do, with light hearts, because we're not dwelling on it, and we're just bringing everybody else up to speed. Alright guys, look, I'm gonna be 100% honest. I forgot what I was gonna say because the phone, and I was about to lay it on y'all, but I forgot. It's God all good. God was like, cut it. The thunder was going hard, so I guess he didn't want me to. He didn't want me to go into it like that. But we're gonna close out our episode. Thank you guys. Thank you, teammates, for watching so much. We cannot do this without you. And thank you for encouraging us to even start season 2 because we weren't going to. It was just something, a project.
It was floating. We were debating, and we were kind of like,
and then people started asking us like, hey, where'd the show go? People started giving encouragements, and we were like, for real, y'all liked it? Like, we were just doing that for us, but that's just how it works. Like, so as long as we get the opportunity to bring value to you, we will. And I promise you, like, with the things we have planned, we're going to be like exchanging our values. We have some like really neat episode ideas coming up, and we can't wait to execute them for you. Okay, so Maddie is going to throw in one last thing, and then we're good. Go, man.
I just wanted an awkward silence.
I know, that was so weird. I felt uncomfortable. I felt mad uncomfortable, yo. Like, I was like, okay, all right, buddy.
I'm sorry. We have a challenge for you guys this week. So Jarell said something earlier in the show about families, typically, if you look it up, will spend less than 37 minutes of quality time together, which is true. Most families don't have the opportunity. I will say that too. Some people just, it's hard to find the time sometimes. And so one of the things that we've been very intentional about that we're trying to work against is that for our family, so we really want to be sure that we're spending intentional time together to build our relationships with ourselves and with our daughter. And so we just want to give you guys a challenge this week. We want to know your superpower for your family. What are you guys awesome at? What makes you super duper unique? And we want you to drop it below. So whether that's family like your spouse, whether that's you and your child, whether that's you and your grandmother, your mother, or you have a big, huge family. Maybe you have like 12 brothers and sisters or something. I don't know. That's cool.
That's cool.
Drop it below. Tell us what you think. What is your superpower? Because I think that's super important.
And for example, just to give you guys an example, like my family is extremely good at dodgeball, and we always beat every team. Or
that's
our
so
family.
I want to play your family.
Oh yeah, right. Cream. Or like maybe your family is very argumentative and people make good points, but like healthily argumentative. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like whatever your superpower is, and what helps your family, what makes y'all special.
Maybe you're super quirky and like
super quirky.
You have, like,
you wear
really cool jokes that like what were you gonna say?
Yeah, I was gonna say silly clothes.
Oh, okay.
Silly
You
clothes.
just held it.
Yeah. Okay, but yeah. All right, we need to go. I'm getting tired. All right, so music should be coming in right about now. Team Rochelle. I bet you I'm gonna be off beat. I'm not because I'm Team Rochelle. All right, we have to pray. Just kidding.
Another awkward pause.
All right.
Get used to it.
Okay, for real. Bow your heads. Take off your hats in reverence, if you will. God, thank you so much for every viewer and every listener out there. We are just so thankful that we get to spend time together. It's not about views, comments, subscribers. It's about adding value to each other's lives. And you've given us a very specific mission in hopes to make families stronger and unite together. And so we just ask that anybody who's watching, that their family strengthen in this time of uncertainty, quarantines, police brutality, just the hecticness that the world sometimes brings on. We pray for every single soul out there, that they feel connected to something higher than themselves. If it's family, then let it be that. If it's you, then let it be that. If it's dancing or worship or art, whatever it is, God, we just pray for divine connections, and that you come close to the people who are hurting, and that we just really look for the good in one another in these days coming. So we thank you, we praise you, and we love you. Amen. All right, guys, that does it. This is episode 1, Growing in Greenville. I'm your lovely host, Jarell Rochelle.
And I'm Madeline Rochelle. We will see you guys on Wednesday for midweek check-in. Because we have some info we want to share with you on current recent events and a little bit about what our next episode will be about.
And maybe there might be something about Express Vibe in there. Express Vibe! Express Vibe!
Team Rochelle.